Hello guys, welcome to San Diego, and beautiful Tourmaline Beach is where we're headed. I am here with my good friend Grant, whom many of you have probably seen or heard of in previous videos. We're gonna try some rock hunting today at the beach. It's calling for a chance of showers. I remember the last time we went to Columbus and it was a chance of showers and we ended up with a blizzard and getting soaked. So let's see how it goes for us today. I've always loved this place. I've come here probably 6 or 8 times or so with Grant here, and pretty much if you go down in that direction, it's kind of a regular beach. It's real sandy, really nice. And we always like to go down this direction because it gets really rocky, and we'll have some fun talking geology and rocks here in a minute. But it's a good place to walk your dog. From what I understand, this is a major surfing place, and I'm not into surfing because I've never lived by the beach, but those of you who are, you probably recognize it. I have an extensive collection already in Granite Paradise of amazing and colorful rocks from here, and I invite you to watch the video linked at the end for a detailed overview of those, because while we will be seeing some great rocks today, we will be focusing more on the geological processes that brought these rocks to us in the first place. It will be well worth your time. I want to start by showing you guys this. The beach is kind of sandy now. Certain times of the year it has more rocks and sometimes it has more sand. It's a little sandy, but look at the magnetite. There might even be garnet in there. But how the water separates out the sand. This happens to be a place where drainage water comes down this little creek here during a rain. Very intricate patterns. If you dig into it, you cut down through just layers and layers of that. This is some kind of granite with little black aggregates of crystals in it. I have several of them at home already, so I'm not taking this home. Grant picked it up, but here is a larger aggregate, which is kind of cool. It almost looks like a snowflake pattern. Maybe hornblende crystals. Nice. So there's a little layer of gravel up here. You can see it in the cliff, but that's nothing like what we're going to see up ahead there. There's an actual fossilized riverbed that's eroding out onto the beach, and that's where all these rocks are coming from. I did a simple Google search on the geologic rock formations that are exposed at Tourmaline Beach, and this is what Google brings up, and it's plenty to give you guys a rabbit hole to go down if you so choose. Thankfully, there's plenty of information online about the geology we will be seeing today. Basically, as I understand the geology, there are layers of sandstone. There's gravel up there, probably coming from the riverbed I'm talking about. There's a lot of concrete on this beach, just because they use it for riprap and such. That would be your typical concrete. And then occasionally we find these. Grant just picked this one out, and it's a lot smoother. So I'm not really sure if that's concrete or a conglomerate, because there are some conglomerates in here. Pretty nice chunk. It's pretty big. It's gonna stay there. By the way, I'm kind of on a digital collecting trip this time around. I actually brought from previous trips, as you may know, I have a whole sculpture in Fort Collins covered with rocks from San Diego. But this time I'm trying to be digital in my collecting. I can fit a lot of rocks on my phone. Look at these sandstone formations. That's so cool. There's places where there are gypsum crystals, concretions, all kinds of things. Grant found a rock. Oh, that is a neat one. I think that's a rhyolite of some kind. He found another one. Nice. A lot of these rocks seem to be volcanic. And they're coming out of obviously an extinct river system. Beautiful. So if you look at this cliff, you can see a lot of like platy crystal structures. Here's Grant to give you an idea of what we're looking at. This probably isn't the smartest idea being under here. But it's beautiful. Every little fracture is full of selenite. You got a piece of it? Oh yeah. It's probably nothing you could make a fortune off of at the rock show, but they're really cool. Zoom back out. And this cliff continues like this for quite a ways. Then where the riverbed is, I think we're starting to see it up in that area, and then the rocks just get bigger and bigger as you go along that part of the beach. We haven't even started looking at the rocks yet.
You can see the patterns of the selenite.
Oh, nice.
In that rock wall.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, that's a nice little section right there. I'm gonna try to walk over to it. You got to be careful with these cliffs because they're very loose and they do fall down. Periodically you hear about a big chunk that collapses. So I don't recommend going up and picking on these. That is spectacular. I mean, even just little pieces like this, if they were to fall on you, it would hurt. He found a rock. Oh. Oh, cool. Do you think that's part of the rock, or do you think it's algae?
No, it's not. That's part of the rock.
That's really
you
red.
You can see it over here and over here and over here.
Very cool.
Is that rhyolite too?
Or basalt, it's hard to tell. Very colorful though.
Yeah, I've never seen basalt that colorful. There might be some jasper in it or something.
Nice one. Did you want it?
Nope.
As I'm filming this video, I know a pretty good part of the United States, including Fort Collins. You guys are close to zero right now. I think some places are well below zero. It's not below zero here. Here's another section of the cliff that's of interest. Look at the spider web of selenite. crystals and plates sticking out of there. The sun is hitting it at a nice angle right now. Then another thing I want to point out to you guys, look at this lone boulder here. I'm afraid to touch it. Grant, please be careful. But I don't know if that's a big river rock that got isolated in the sandstone or if it's a concretion. There's a lot of stuff sticking overhead here, so I don't want to yank on it. But these selenite plates are really cool. They break off real easy. Actually, that might be calcite. Could be calcite, but most likely it's selenite like we've been saying. But look at this structure here.
I got a big piece of it I'm gonna wash it off.
Okay, be careful. I'll go over with you. Gotta wait till the wave comes, but not get soaked. This is how we wash rocks on the beach. Hurry up. Oh, nice. Can I see it? Yeah, very nice. Little better. All right, that's enough of that. I'll give you that back. There's that lone boulder I was just asking you guys about. Here we can see it in more sunlight. Oh, look at this. How's that for some cool structure? I don't know what would have caused this. You guys can tell me what you think.
What causes these holes? A clamshell.
They bore into the rock, yeah. Oysters?
Clam. Small clam. They're all about that diameter too.
Here are some more of these isolated boulders. Pretty sure they're concretions, because they definitely have a sandstone structure, at least this one does. And they're just harder than the surrounding rock. There's another one here. I'm real excited to show you guys the fossilized riverbed. It's really cool. We're getting up to it. The tide is high right now. Normally the water's out quite a bit further. And normally this, at least every time I've been here, this has all been rocks. But right now, just because of the weather patterns, it's still covered with sand. So we might not get to look at too many rocks today, but that's fine. We're having fun. And we're enjoying the cliff. This gives me an excuse to focus on the cliff a little more. Where?
Right up there. Selenite. It's layers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are a little thicker too. Look at this one that broke off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure what was here. It's not laying down here. But it might have been one of those concretions that we're talking about. Interesting. What do you see? More selenite?
Those big chunks there that it's going to fall out one of these.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
There's another one, yep. Yeah, they're most likely concretions. Slowly making our way down Tourmaline Beach in beautiful San Diego. Oh, there's more selenites. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what these concretions are. They're just sandstone. Nice selenite.
Both selenite as well as calcite are minerals that commonly fill in the cracks and crevices that occur in many sedimentary rocks, especially sandstones and shales.
It's hard not to shake when you're zoomed in. There's a bigger rock. More selenite for you guys. So Grant is gonna wait for me back there because he has a kind of a hard time walking on these rocks. Actually, I do too. It is high tide, like I said, so our little strip is a lot narrower than it is sometimes. I'm trying to get down to where the riverbed is actually exposed right at the base of the cliff. Bear with me and I'll see you down there. If you look at these rocks, a lot of them are volcanic. Here's a... Okay, so that piece I showed you at the beginning of the video that I thought might be a conglomerate, I think we just found the answer, because this is the same material. No, it's just a different kind of concrete. Urbanite. Here is the gravel deposit, the riverbed. Do you notice that there's water coming out of it and running down the side of the cliff? So the gravel is obviously a more porous layer. And water, often in underground aquifers, still follows old riverbeds. And that's the reason, because it can flow through these rocks. It's been raining a little more here, so we're seeing a few things that we don't often see. Kind of a rhyolitic breccia, perhaps. You guys know what reworking is where an old riverbed is exposed, or a beach. So this rock right here, I'm gonna pull it out. It has been sitting here for who knows how long. And it's gonna fall down onto this beach and resume its journey. So this has probably never been touched by seawater yet, other than maybe the waves crashing up here during a storm. This is probably river rounded, and now it has been set free to continue its journey, and we call that in geology reworking. Those of you following my Yellowstone River videos, I've mentioned that in the Yellowstone there are a lot of gravels that are being reworked, meaning they're not originally from the Yellowstone. They were deposited elsewhere, and now the river is cutting through them. But here is the main riverbed. You can see how big some of those cobbles are. We don't want to walk under that for obvious reasons. But that's where all these rocks are coming from, on beautiful Tourmaline Beach. You hear that sound of the waves moving the water? Sorry, the waves moving the rocks. Let's see if we can get it better. I want to mention, point you guys towards another video I posted not long ago. If these walls could speak. In Italy, we went to Assisi, where St. Francis is from. And there are walls in that city, some probably well over 1,000 years old. And there have been many earthquakes. And so the walls have collapsed again and again and been rebuilt. So you see portions of doorways, portions of windows, archways, all mixed in with each other. And when you look at geology, it's kind of the same way. I'll insert a real quick clip of that here for you.
We can consider that geologic processes such as we are seeing in the sequence visible here on this cliff are similar to the many random and destructive earthquakes, wars, fires, and of course the simple remodelings that happened over the centuries, and that have so marked these walls in Assisi, where we see a tapestry of overlapping remnants of doors, arches, windows, and the jagged outlines where older walls partially collapsed and were then repaired again and again, only to have another section collapse yet later and be repaired again. Geology is rarely neat and tidy. Often multiple processes are taking place at the same time, punctuated by drastic, more rapid changes, followed by yet more slow processes acting on what was left from before. But if we know where to look and what to look for, we can get an idea of all that has happened to lead up to what we see today.
And so when we look at a cliff like this, it's probably similar. So we don't know, for example, these layers of sand, how long they were here before the gravel was piled up on top. And now it's a sheared off cliff, and maybe the ocean will keep eroding it away, or maybe it'll collapse and then be eroded. So it's just interesting to imagine all that has gone on in this cliff. So here we are back at Tourmaline Beach, coming at it from a different direction. Earlier in the video, we were coming from way down there. Got about halfway. And I asked Grant if there was a way to come in from the other side, and we started talking about it with he and his wife, and we found this on the map. I had never been down this way before, so this is really nice. We're down by where the big rocks are. There's a little bit of a step.
For those who can bend their knees.
For those who can bend their knees, yeah. Oh, this saves us a lot of time of having to walk all that way again.
Well, aren't you going back this way then?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back here and finish what I was saying about the cliff over there. All right, Grant, say hi to the crowd, all 7 of us, of which you and your wife are one. All right, I'm gonna head down here. Guys, we're gonna try to get to the riverbed I was telling you about. But before we do that, we have a chance to get a good close look at the conglomerate. The rocks here, as you see, are a lot bigger. They're hard to walk on. See, here's a chunk of the conglomerate right here. Really cool. It's basically a sandstone, just loaded with river rocks. You can see there's coarse gravel up here, and then it gets to be fine gravel. Really, this whole cliff is the riverbed. Over there, it was kind of mixed in with sandstones, and down here is pretty much where it's just all rocks. So these huge ones are cement, and some of those are really cool looking. But there's volcanic porphyries, A lot of it's volcanic, other than the concrete. Look at the size of that boulder. Oh, that's cement. I think that's cement. Pretty sure that's cement. I decided I would try to show you guys as much of this walk as possible because it's really cool. Just the size of the rocks. Again, they throw a lot of concrete in here to keep the waves from battering the cliffs, because as you can see, there's houses right up there and we don't want the cliffs falling down. So I think that's what all this big concrete is explained by. Yeah, see, look at this. So these rocks were deposited in a river environment. They've been sitting here ever since. And they're just now seeing the light of day after how many millions of years. I have not found out too much about the names of rock formations. I'll leave that to people that are above my pay grade. But I know enough about the geology to kind of know the general process that's going on here. It's hard to know if some of these are cement and some of them might be parts of the same conglomerate. Look at this green. Oh, that is cool. Yeah, that one's gonna stay there. Real pretty green. When we were here earlier this morning, it was high tide. And now you can see at low tide how much more the beach is exposed. So here we're back, not quite to where we made it this morning, from the far end over there. I think we were in here, maybe where those bushes were. I think it's as far as we got. But you can see here again, the river gravels are mixed in with sandstones. It's just a very nice conglomerate. I will insert a clip here of my rocks that I have in Fort Collins already that are from here. Because again, those were collected over several trips and I had a lot more time. I feel like I'm not going to be able to do it justice with you today. So I'll show you some of the rocks that were collected from here. I just wanted you to see, especially these bigger ones. Now that the tide is out, you can really see them. Big rocks. And they're dropping off from up there. And since they're big, they really don't wash away like the little ones do. I just had to drop in a little blip here about these couple of cool rocks. Beautiful veined marble, or maybe basalt. I say marble because of the way the white veins are going through it. And this one caught my eye. That's a very fine grained, looks like a granite, not a granite, like a gneiss. It's really smoothed off. These are big.
Another plug for the video linked at the end. Be sure to check out a detailed look at my collection. I mailed myself 18 large flat rate boxes weighing about 30 pounds each over the years, as well as larger rocks in my checked bags over 2 different trips. Grant has also sent me a box or 2 over the years when he has found noteworthy specimens.
Cool.
I like to imagine the landscape of the time when this river was flowing and these rocks were being washed down from mountains that no longer exist. The sheer variety of rocks found here imply that it was a large river system draining a wide area.
It's funny how sometimes the interesting rocks all kind of gather together. Here's a beautiful orange and white, quite reflective. I don't know if that's showing. Granite. I think that's a porphyry of some kind. This is just really green, probably a pyroxenite. You can see the reflections of the crystals, but it's green. I did not bring a spray bottle, of course. Here is a banded, I have several of these in Fort Collins, a banded rhyolite, real crumbled. You can see the banding on it. Real pretty rocks here. They're big. That's why they're still here. See these bigger, they kind of looks like cement, but they're obviously different. The rocks are not sorted and they're much bigger. These are pieces of the conglomerate bedrock. I think all three of these are. Whereas these are concrete. You can clearly see the difference. Can you guys see the exposed bedrock? See, that's more of the conglomerate exposed there. And then here's more, here are more large rocks. This one caught my eye. Nice granite with a vein going through it. Just imagine that you're up in the Rocky Mountains somewhere and along a river like that has these big granite boulders, and that's kind of what we're looking at. Some volcanics. I'm going around the point. I've never been around here before. I just wanted to see what there was. Looks like more of the same. Here, the cliff is just pure conglomerate. No sandstone at all. But what I don't understand is the big rocks, because there aren't rocks quite this big immediately visible. I mean, there's a big one there. There are some good sized cobbles. It could be that the small and the large are eroding out together onto the beach, but the waves obviously carry the smaller ones away and probably just accumulate the big ones. You know, when you go to a river, there's always the occasional giant rock. This is probably just an aggregate of those big rocks. Because at first glance, the conglomerate, other than a few odds and ends here and there, doesn't really have all the giant boulders. Just hypothesizing out loud here. Tell me what you guys think. Look at this guy. These are some of my favorites from here. I've got a few on my sculpture in Fort Collins. I call them a green rhyolite. Sorry about the poor lighting. It's just about sunset. That's a nice one. So much fun. There's some bigger rocks up there.
Tourmaline Beach has long been one of my favorite places both for rocks and geology. I have always said that every rock is a snapshot of some moment in deep geologic time, and both the rocks themselves as well as the cliffs that they are eroding out of have intrigued me for many years. I am really glad that I was given the opportunity to return to this amazing beach and finally give some due attention to the geology in its cliffs. I hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making this video. And if you are still watching at this point, I hope that I have earned your coveted likes, shares, comments, and if you have not yet done so, your subscription to the channel. God bless you, and we look forward to our next adventure.